of my subscribers, Jenny from Ireland, had asked for me to etch at least one more rock. And I'm glad she didn't ask me to cut one, because look at my saw. And most of my rocks that I have not processed are under snow. I've got them in various spots. There's some of my larger silver. This little hump here is some rocks. Oh goodness. I thought perhaps together we could look at some of the ones that are still exposed because they're under the banister. Pick one or two, etch them, and if it turns out all right, we'll send it to her. What I really want to find is a rock that is mostly calcite. So that's not, that's biotite. It's dirty from the saw. Let's move on. Let's see what's down here. So there's calcite. Yes, that won't etch properly. That's a fossil. That came from Latchford. What do we got here? There's an apatite. Perhaps some other crystals in there. Feldspar. Here's another little cluster with apatites, richterite. Very dirty. Again, it's too close to the saw. Let's keep moving. There's a sample of Richter. That one I'll pick up in the spring. There's a sample of anthibol. More fossils. Seen that in another video. There's pyrites. There's a wee apatite. Up here are larger silvers. Looks like pyrite to me. I don't think that one will etch well. Do you like looking at rocks? I sure do. Now, these are interesting. That's Tremolite. And I'd cut it. Let me moisten it. Put some DNA on it. See, look at that. There was clear Tremolite in there. Huge crystal. Some of the cabs could probably do something with that. That's just all calcite crystals. And that would just dissolve away to nothing. Oh, maybe there's one we could do. There's a calcite on one side. Well, that might be one to process, to etch. See that? That's magnetite. Cool rock. Here's another one we might consider trying. That might be really cool. Not sure. There's one. For some reason I'd sliced it, I guess just to see what's inside. And there's the calcite on top. That might be kind of neat. There's more biotite. A biff. That one might be neat, eh? But here's the problem. You can see there's an apatite in there. Muriatic acid destroys apatite. I can't move that chair, it's frozen, so I can't see those ones directly. Oh goodness, it's getting cold. It is like minus 15 out. Those are little apatites. That's garnet. It's already been etched. There's a nice little cluster, but I'm not seeing calcite in it, so we'll keep going. Here's one we did before, epidote. Here's a garnet cluster we did before. Here's a wee one, calcite and fluorite. That came from the Sheckler. Nothing is jumping out at me as the definite one to do yet. Let's keep going. Another slice. Oh, that was garnet. Oh, these ones here are Tremolite with lots of calcite. Now one of these might be good to do. Problem once you etch them is they do get a bit fragile. The calcite seems to hold it together. Oh, I think this one will etch well. Expose some of the crystals. That might be beautiful. Okay, I'm going to hang on to that one. Oh. No calcite in that one. This is what I just spotted. That is from Cobalt Ontario. That's not snow, that's some kind of mineral bloom on there. It's white, not sure what that is, and a yellow bloom over here. I think there's calcite in there, and hopefully you can see it. I see little crystals down in there. I see the pink right there, which is urethorite. Oh man, let's do that one. Is there a third one? What's this? That is calcite crystal. That'll just dissolve away. Okay, so what we have is 2 rocks. I think I want to etch them slowly, so we'll put them into a very diluted muriatic acid, and here's my idea. We'll have you vote on which one is the best result, and that's the one we'll send to Jenny. Sound good? Let's do it. Okay, slight change of plans. I've decided to etch using table vinegar, white vinegar. The reason being, it's too cold outside to be using muriatic, and with muriatic you really don't want to be breathing the fumes, so it's not a good thing to use inside. Regular pure white vinegar is about 5% acid, and it'll do the job, although it's slow. You can see just a little bit of bubble rising. That is the calcite being dissolved. So I wait with anticipation.
You shiver with anticipation.
Alright, it's been about an hour. Let's sneak a peek. See how these boys are doing. Certainly, it's cleaning off the Tremolite. Oops. There's what happens. Little pieces are fragile and do fall off. But I think we'll keep it going into the fluids. Back in bowl, back in bowl.
Back in the bowl, big and boy.
Let's look at the silver. Oh. Okay, so I think the white bloom was some kind of arsenide. You don't want to eat it. You want to wash your hands after. Getting it on your fingers. It's looking interesting, but more time. Back in bowl.
Back in bowl, big and boy.
There we go. In you go. We'll come back later. Well, it's been 24 hours, and I think the results are actually fascinating. I still have the Tremolite in vinegar. It's still working. There's more calcite in this specimen than the other. But let's look at this rock. It is now basically a solid piece of ore. Normally I just say what we have here is a mixed metal, but definitely containing silver. See the bright pieces where I just rubbed it on my pants? I just did this. And it comes up quite shiny. Now what I find confusing is the structure. See these individual crystals? That's more something that I've seen with a cobalt group mineral. And they're really throughout this rock. Very small ones down in here, and the larger ones up on the end. If I was at a university and in an exam trying to identify this, I think I'd go out on a limb. And I'd state how I got to my assessment, looking for partial marks in case I was wrong. But without additional equipment to know exactly what this contains in the way of elements, and just looking at the basics, hardness and streak and that sort of thing. So streak is dark gray or black. My first thought, based on the shape of the crystals, is it was antimony based, and that would be then called stephanite. Further inspection, I'm leaning towards gerstophite, and that is relatively rare. It's brittle, perfect cleavage, a gray-black streak and 5.5 on the moths. And then I had an aha. I think this is possibly a pseudomorph, where the silver has intruded where the other minerals were before. So that would be my hypothesis. If anybody watching this has a different opinion, love to hear it. Now we'll let this one continue bubbling away for a little bit longer, but I don't want to get rid of all of the calcite. Oh, there's a piece off. Well, it's kind of a mix of calcite and the tremolite. We'll see you probably in another 24 hours. Well, it's 24 hours later, and the rock itself is done etching. Let's take a look. What you can really see now is the bladed tremolite. There's the edge of a blade there. There's the face of a blade. There's some wee ones. So if we're wondering what's inside, there's the rock etched. Well, let me know what you think, and I thank you so much for watching.